Welcome to Board Game Archaeologists, where we play time-worn games from the past. I'm Hunter.
I'm Rob.
And today we're looking at Pendulum Curveball.
Pendulum's Curveball by the Aurora Company in 1974. This time it's Buddy Hackett, telling us the first bowling game that lets you curve the ball like a pro.
Essentially, the objective of this game is similar to skittle-bowl and bowling in the sense that you're trying to knock down as many pins, scoring in the way in which you want to usually get spares or strikes to get more than the amount.
Yep, and you got to put a little force into it. But this is on a curve right here, and you can set your curve any way you want it. And this is all curved out. So, and then it bumps up here. So it's kind of weirdly random when you first start playing it. And then after you play it for a little while, you start figuring it out. One thing I did find out about this game is it's a whole lot easier to make a strike in this game than it was skittle-bowl, that's for sure. So if you just drop it, the ball's not going to make it. There's just not enough weight to it. But if you give it some pressure, you can do some good damage to it. Now, sometimes when it hits, it'll land up here and come rolling down, just like it does on the real alley, which is kind of exciting. But it doesn't happen every time. The things are exactly like skittle-bowl.
Yeah.
They're just a dowel of wood with little indentions, which would have been kind of cool, but I understand because of this game that there's no indentions to put the pin.
Yeah. And I think these are called skittles.
Oh, yeah. Probably like Tiddly and Winks.
Yeah, very similarly with the squid gur and whatnot.
Yeah, right. We're learning a lot of technology kind of words that way. But again, same bowling rules. You do two bowls. You get your points. If you get a spare on the second one, you count that. You count the next ball to that 10 on that one, and the strike is 2. You can look up bowling rules all over the place. And again, you can move it up here and do a curve. And it gets all curvy, and I've never hit a ball that way. So I tend to always kind of keep it low and straight and kind of hit it that way.
But the diversity in what you can do is kind of fun. Honestly, I think things like skittle-bowl have a little more longevity to me. Just because, as we said before, it's like there's so many different ways that you can choose to play it. This is very like single-minded in its design, I feel.
Right, right. So what are your pros and cons on the game?
My pros are that it's very easy to approach. I like the fact that you can set where you're hitting from, where a lot of people... I think it has to do with like the very exact dexterity of like throwing things at a very specific force. Like sometimes that's a lot for people, and having it so it's just like, oh, I kind of have this like place. It's less physical and a little more like, I don't know if you want to call it analytic, but it kind of lends a greater hand to someone who might have a harder time throwing a ball or doing something like that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's one of those games that carry over. It's skittle-bowl, it's bowling. There's outside games like it. So if you teach your kid one of these kind of games, they're probably going to know a whole bunch of games. My major con for it is I've got these games that have boxes that are about the size of our room that I got to kind of tuck away in a corner because it's not like you pull this out every day and play it. So the size is pretty overwhelming. But otherwise than that, it's plastic. It's made by Aurora. It's held up since the early 70s, mid 70s. It's a fun game overall.
Yeah, I absolutely think so too. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about us, check us out at toyarchaeology.com. We also do a show on monster models and another show on Dungeon and Dragon gaming. You can find us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.